Welcome to the Tabletop Ramblings Middle-earth Strategy Battle Games Solo Tournament. Today's battle pitches Theoden, King of Rohan, leading his Riders of Theoden Legendary Legion against Boromir of the White Tower, leading the forces of Minas Tirith. This battle is the fourth game in the 6-round Tabletop Ramblings 600-point Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game Solo Tournament. So if you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell button so that you'll be notified of the future releases in this tournament series. And please do check out the other videos if you've not already seen them. Both Theoden and Boromir are quite even in the tournament ranking at the moment, so this is an incredibly important game for one of our champions to pull ahead. Today's game is crucial for their tournament ranking, and both champions will be fighting hard to win this battle. Will victory go to Theoden, son of Thengel, the King of Rohan, or Boromir, captain of the White Tower? Before we get stuck into this game, let's remind ourselves of the armies that our champions are leading to war. The forces of Minas Tirith are led by Denethor's favoured son, Boromir, captain of the White Tower, and he's mounted on a horse. He has a shield, and he's carrying the banner of Minas Tirith. He's accompanied by 2 knights with shield, and he's got 6 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield, 3 with shield and spear, and 3 Fountain Court Guard with shield. Along with Boromir today, he is accompanied by Ingold. He has 4 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield, 3 with spear and shield, and 2 Fountain Court Guard with shield. And then he also has a knight with a shield. And finally, the warband led by Damrod. He has 4 rangers with spear and 2 knights with shield. And that is 600 points of Minas Tirith. Theoden is leading his Riders of Theoden Legendary Legion, and he's accompanied by 1 rider, a Royal Guard, and 2 Royal Guard with throwing spear. And this entire force has to be mounted for the Legion special rules. He is accompanied by Eomer, Dernhelm and Deowine, and they all have the same warband of 2 Royal Guard with throwing spear and 1 rider with throwing spear. And that is 600 points of Riders of Theoden Legendary Legion. This is the battlefield for today. It's an abandoned Rohan village on the outskirts between Rohan and the lands of Gondor. There's a house in the centre, and then just some scattered trees and fences. You can probably see from the placement of the objectives that today's battle for the second round of the tournament is destroy the supplies. For this scenario, 3 objectives or supplies are placed in each team's half, 12 inches from the centre. To destroy an objective, a model has to be in base contact with an enemy objective at the end of the turn and have not shot, cast magic or fought in that turn. Each of those objectives is worth 2 points for each one destroyed at the end of the game. Victory points are also awarded for wounding the enemy leader and killing the enemy leader for 1 and 2 respectively. You also get 1 victory point if you break the enemy, and 2 if you break them while not broken. And finally, if you have a banner alive on the board, you gain 1 victory point, and 2 if you have a banner and the enemy does not. Destroy the Supplies is a game that lasts until one side is quartered. Deployment is 12 inches back from the centre, and as we've seen the armies, we've seen the board, and we know the scenario, we can get straight into rolling for deployment. For this battle, Rohan will be using the green dice, and they will take the part of good, and Minas Tirith will be using the red dice, and they will be the evil force. Rolling for deployment. And it goes to Minas Tirith. So Boromir will choose his first warband, and then the players will alternate. This is how the board looks after deployment. Boromir has deployed in the centre, and to his left, his flank is held by Ingold, who's going to be looking to make some roadblocks in this terrain down here. On Boromir's right, Damrod and his knights are trying to hold this open ground with a widespread gun line for their bows to have as much opportunity for clean shots as they can. The forces of Rohan have just mustered into a long line. Dernhelm is on the left, facing down Ingold. In the centre, there's Theoden, Deowine, with AMS slightly towards the right flank. With both forces deployed and facing off against each other, we're ready to go into turn 1 priority. And turn 1 goes to Minas Tirith. End of turn 1 movement, and everything has just shuffled forward to get ready to go into combat as quickly as possible. Boromir and his band have ploughed down the centre. Ingold on the left only moved 5 out of his 6 to come up to the fence, not committing to either direction. And he was matched by Dernhelm, who is keeping him in indecision, moving up to the wall as well. On the right, Damrod and his rangers moved up just half so that they can get some shots off in the shoot phase. And Éomer and his band, including Deowine, have moved to try and get as many in the ways as possible, as has Theoden. And Éomer is right out, ready to take as many of the shots as possible, as he has Horse Lord and will be able to use his fate to keep his horse alive. With that, we go into the shoot phase. In the shoot phase, and there are 3 rangers that have shots on Éomer. The ranger there, and those 2 up there. They've moved, so they're hitting on 4s. That is 2 good hits there on 6s. Now they need to see if they hit his horse or the rider. 1, 2, 3, it's the horse, and on a 4+, both on the rider. His defense 7, the bows are only strength 2, so these are 6s by 4s. No wounds there. The next shots are this last ranger here and Damrod. They both have clean shots onto Deowine, who only has 1 point of fate to try and keep his horse alive. So the ranger hits horse or rider, hits the rider, but on a 2 it does not wound. And then the last shot is Damrod, who misses. So that is the end of Minas Tirith's shooting. Returning fire, we have these 2 horsemen who have bows, and they're going to be targeting the rangers on the flank. They've moved, so they're hitting on 5s. Unfortunately, they both miss. The next shot coming along is this rider here. He's in base contact with him, and as he's only moved half, he's able to get a shot off. And he is going to try an incredible skill shot and try and take out Boromir's horse. He'll be hitting on 5s because he's moved. But he misses, unfortunately. And then last warrior there that has a bow is this chap. And he is just going to attempt to shoot one of the front rank warriors. But he misses as well. End of turn 1 sees both forces moving up, getting into position and readying to make and take charges. The opening salvos of bow fire are still at extreme ranges and have not hit their mark. So let's go into turn 2 priority. It goes to Rohan. Turn 2 movement, and with Rohan having priority, they have had to move so that they couldn't be charged next turn if they lost priority, not wanting to lose the edge. So down here, they've shuffled back, and over on the flank, they've shuffled around as well. Up here, however, with Éomer and Deowine, they've pushed as far up as they can to try and taunt the rangers into moving rather than shooting. This has only half worked, as Damrod has moved forward full with his knights, but the 4 rangers managed to only move half and still be within charge range next turn. This is a move that Éomer wanted to provoke, however, he didn't quite expect Boromir's move as well, where this block of infantry has moved over to the right to help out with Damrod's attack on the cavalry to overwhelm them with numbers, while Boromir and his 2 knights have charged into range of those Rohirrim cavalry. They're 9 inches away, so they're out of throwing spear range, but within charge range next turn. Over here on the flank, Ingold has committed to the left to try and either make a break for the objectives or to force Dernhelm into combat, leaving just a few warriors to threaten Theoden if he decides to abandon the centre and charge up. And that is how the board looks at the end of turn 1 movement. Turn 2 movement, rather. Going into the shoot phase, we do have several shots. So we'll come over to these rangers who are going to take shots into those riders at point blank range. All of these rangers have shots onto the Royal Guard there, so they're the targets for their bows this turn. Those 2 are going to fire on those 2, we'll do them 2 at a time, but they both miss. They're hitting on 4s because they've moved, definitely not 1s. So then these 2 are going to fire on him. So we'll do the first one, he hits, and the second one misses. So does he hit the horse or rider? He hits the rider. 6 to wound? No, just a 1. Then the last shot is Damrod, and he has in fact moved too far. He had to move 6. So that is the end of Minas Tirith shooting. Returning fire, Eomer is going to throw his spear into that knight. He hits. Does he hit Damrod in the way? Yes, so he's hit Damrod. He's looking for 5s to wound. A 3. No wound there. And then next we have this rider. He's going to make the same shot on the knight behind Damrod. He hits as well. Does he hit Damrod? No, he gets through onto the knight. Horse or rider? It goes onto the horse. Can he kill him? Kill the horse on a 5+? No, just a 1. And lastly, we have these 2 riders onto those two Royal Guard rather, onto those 2 rangers, hitting on 5s. Both miss. The next 2 shots that we have are these 2 riders taking a shot on Boromir. And they have moved, so they're hitting on 5s. Well, that's 1 hit. Does it hit the fence? Yes, it gets tangled in the fence. Last shot there to be on Boromir is that rider there. He hits on the 5. Horse or rider? It hits Boromir. Does it wound on 6s by 4s? But no, that is just a 1. Another uneventful shooting phase, but things are about to get very, very spicy as the lines are about to clash at the start of turn 3. So let's roll for turn 3 priority. Priority goes to Minas Tirith. Priority to Minas Tirith sees Rohan unable to do anything about Boromir's charge. However, up here, Eomer is calling a heroic move to try and get him and his riders out of dodge. Damrod is countering with his own heroic move to try and catch them and turn off their charge bonuses. With both Eomer and Damrod calling a heroic move to roll off. On a 1, 2 or 3 it's evil, which is Minas Tirith. On a 4+ it is the forces of Rohan. And on a 4 it goes to Eomer, who will be able to charge, shouting with me to bring his riders to bear on the enemy. End of turn 3 movement, and the lines have smashed into each other. Up here on the right, Eomer managed to get the jump on Damrod, winning the heroic move roll-off, and he has charged, engaging all of the rangers and those knights. He's hoping to smash through very quickly, as 12 warriors here are coming up behind to trap and overwhelm him and his band. Down in the centre, Boromir and his 2 knights charged straight down into the 4 riders there. They were countercharged by Theoden himself and several riders and royal guard. Boromir happy there to take a charge from Theoden on the chance there that he wins, as he's quite confident that he can kill Theoden, although it is a gamble as he is trapped. Up on the left side of the battle, things are quite tight for Rohan, as a lot of Dernhelm's force have split away to help their king, leaving just one royal guard who managed to claim first blood for the battle with a throwing spear on his way in, killing one of Ingold's bodyguard and going straight on in to the fountain court behind. Dernhelm herself contemplated going for those two and heroic moving through to try and take out 4 warriors, but decided to just cut straight to the chase and cut the head from the snake of that warband, and has charged into Ingold himself. The knight has just followed up behind, ready to make counter charges, and then these two here continuing to block that passageway and making a beeline for the supplies. There's just one lonely shot for Rohan. This rider here moved to 8 inches away so that he can't be charged, but he is in throwing spear range. He hits on a 5, but no, just a 2. He is far too terrified of the oncoming horde of infantry to throw straight. That is the end of turn 3's shooting, and we'll go into the combat phase. Start the combat phase, and there's quite a few heroics being called. Both Theoden and Boromir are striking to try and get the upper hand in that combat. And then over here, Ingold and Dernhelm are both striking. We'll save the best till last though, so we'll come back to the heroes combats and we'll just start going from left to right and do the rest of the combats first. On the left flank then, we have 1-on-1. The spearman there is going to shield rather than using this spear support to allow that to be supporting Ingold. So shielding in the red against charging, +1 to attack on the charge from the Royal Guard. And it goes to the Royal Guard. So he now gets double strikes. He pushes him back. He's defense 7, the Fountain Court Guard, and the Royal Guard is strength 4. So he will still need 6s, but he does get 4 dice. No. 3 5s, but unable to break through, so we'll put a green prone marker on him. We then come to the centre, and with Minas Tirith priority, we'll do this 2-on-1 fight first, so that this knight here won't be trapped in his combat. So that is 2-on-1. It does go to Rohan, but Boromir's banner there gets a reroll, but only a 2. So trapped, he is taking double strikes. We'll do this rider strikes first. He's got double strikes because that rider is trapped, and he is strength 4 because he charged. So he's wounding on 5s. Oh, not quite there. And then next we have this rider who is wounding on 6s. No, nothing again. So 4 failed strikes there, and these 2 back away. Then next we have a 2-on-1. And again with 6s there, it goes to Rohan. There is the banner reroll, but just a 3 can't contest that. So he's not trapped because he is able to make way now. He is strength 4 on the charge, so he's going to be needing 5s, and he gets him with the 6, and he goes down. We then come up to the fighting over on the right flank. On the right, we'll start with Daewine against 2 rangers. He has 3 attacks on the charge against 2 from the rangers. And there he has convincingly won that with a 5 against a 4. So, rolling these separately, he only needs 4s to wound. He kills the first with his double strikes. And then he has 2 sets of double strikes on the remaining one, and he annihilates him with 4s, 5s and 6s. So those 2 are dead. Next we have a one-on-one here. A knight against a charging royal guard. Royal guard doesn't get his extra attack, but he will gain his strength if he wins, but he doesn't. It goes to the knight. He's looking for sixes to rip him out the saddle. Just a 5 there. Not quite. Next we have a one-on-one there. The other knight against the other royal guard. It goes to the royal guard this time. So he needs just a 5 to kill. And it's a 6. He backs away to make way and he dies. Next we have another one-on-one. This time the royal guard does get his charge bonus. And he has won the fight on a 4 there, so it's double strikes. Strength 4 on the charge, he needs 4s to wound. And there he has killed him. Finally, we've got this one-on-one. With these extra dice for the charge, the royal guard wins the fight. And then again, 4s to wound. Smashed him to pieces. That line has crumbled there to the might of Rohan. We then have Éomer, 4 attacks on the charge against Damrod's 1. It goes to Éomer on the 6 there. Nothing Damrod could do. And these are then double strikes. Needing 5s to wound. 1 wound there. And then again, in fact, it's 4s to wound because he's strength 5 on the charge. And there is the 2nd wound. So even though he's got 1 point of fate, he's taken 2 wounds and he is dead. After a brutal right flank assault there, Minas Tirith are looking to claw it back with this important combat. If Boromir can win the strike off, then he could quite easily kill the King of Rohan. So an important strike off. Oh, and both combat champions there are going to be fight 10. Both at fight 10, Boromir needs to get the 6 and then he's going to be relying on a roll-off. So he's going to set the bar. He does get the 6, putting the pressure there on Rohan to match him. Theoden, 2 dice, only gets a 4 high. He now has 3 of his comrades there who he needs to roll high. And there they go, they get the 6. So it is now going to come down to a roll-off. 1, 2 or 3, Boromir will win. But on a 4, 5, 6, Boromir is going to be trapped and in a very sticky situation here. And it's a 5. It goes to Theoden. This could be an overreach from Boromir here, as he is going to start taking strikes now. First to roll strikes will be this rider here. He's got double strikes because he was trapped. They've had to back away because they did the trapping. He is strength 4 because he's charged, so he's going to go after that horse, needing 4s. He gets the horse, so Boromir is now dismounted and will roll his throne rider at the end of the combats. But that means that if Boromir does survive, then he will be on foot from here on out. Next we've got these 2. So that's 2 sets of double strikes on Boromir himself. Strength 3 on defense 7 is 6s. Absolutely nothing there with quad 1s. That was very, very poor there. 4 again for Theoden now. He's strength 5 on the charge, so he's only needing 5s. Although however strong you are, quad 1s is never going to do it. So he's looking for some high dice now, showing his warriors how it's done. Not so great. There is a 6 there, so he has scored a wound, but not remotely as lethal as it should have been for that trapped son of Gondor. So we'll put his dismount down, and he has taken a wound, which he'll roll his fate for. And he saves it, so just the horse and 1 fate of Boromir. We'll just roll Boromir's throne rider. Oh, and it's a 1! He is smashed into the dirt, falling from his horse badly there. He's now prone, which will deactivate his banner. and he takes a strength 3 hit, so a 6 will wound. No wound there, but the embarrassment and tactical loss there of being off his feet and on his bum is not great there for Boromir. And then we come to the final fight, which is Ingold versus Dernhelm. They've both struck up, and it is a draw. Ingold is fight 4. He goes up to fight 6. And Dernhelm, the Eowyn and Merry profiler, fight 5 base, so they go up to 6. So that is a draw. Ingold has 2 attacks. He will be the normal red dice, and then the big red dice is the Fountain Court Guard, and then Dernhelm has 4 attacks on the charge. She will be green. Oh, and with a lot of 6s there, it goes to Eowyn. So Ingold is going to spend a point of might, taking him down to just 1 might, but he's going to take that to a 50-50 now to try and win the combat. So we'll do that roll off. 1, 2, 3, Ingold wins. 4, 5, 6, it would have been Rohan. However, on that 2, he'll be able to make strikes against Eowyn. So we'll go straight into that. On her horse, the spearman will need 5s. A 1, nothing. Ingold's going to try and kill her horse as well. A 2, nothing. And again, a 4. So that is a wound against her horse. Merry is going to use his point of fate to try and save the horse. He doesn't get it. Going to risk another fate from Eowyn, and that gets it there. So she has lost the combat and 2 points of fate. A truly brutal turn 3 sees Rohan cutting down swathes of Minas Tirith. Although if their charge falters now, the tables could quickly turn. Boromir in the centre is unhorsed, so this is going to be a very big priority going into turn 4. It's a draw, so it goes to Rohan as Minas Tirith had it last. Start of the movement phase, and some heroics have been called. Boromir, stuck there on the floor, has called a heroic move, and Theoden, eager to finish off the biggest threat on the battlefield, has countered with a move of his own. On the left, Ingold has used his last point of might to call a heroic move, willing to sacrifice being able to strike to try and overwhelm Dernhelm and that Royal Guard and fully secure the left. Dernhelm has countered with her own heroic move. With both sides calling heroic moves, they will alternate and will roll off to see which side will go first. 1, 2, 3, it's Minas Tirith, and on a 4, 5, 6, it is Rohan, and on a 1, it's Minas Tirith. With only a moment of indecision, Ingold has foregone his chance at a heroic move to allow Boromir to move first. Boromir stands, thrusting his banner into the air, and has charged headlong at Theoden, King of Rohan. The knight by his side has charged into that rider there just to try and prevent as many models as possible from overwhelming Boromir, trying to buy him some breathing room. End of turn 4 movement, and after Boromir's heroic, he has been countercharged by 3 Royal Guard, and his knight has been countercharged by another rider. On the right flank, Rohan have smashed into the warrior line. Éomer getting a kill with his throwing spear, allowing him to come into those 2. And then all the Royal Guard and Daewine have engaged along the line. That Royal Guard there has been able to charge the knight, allowing the Royal Guard up at the back to destroy the supplies at the end of the turn. Then over towards the top centre, this rider here has made a break for it from the scrum here to go for more objectives. A Royal Guard left Theoden's side, unable to get into combat, and instead has charged over here to try and stop these 2. Things are looking a little bit better for Minas Tirith right on the right hand side, the left rather, where the Royal Guard was forced to loop right round into the cavalry to prevent Eowyn's or Dernhelm's charge bonus is being turned off. Then that's been compounded by Ingold and 5 of his warriors fully trapping and surrounding Dernhelm. Dernhelm does have the fight value, she does have a point of might, but if she loses that fight, it is going to be a very bad day for the daughter of Rohan. There's no shooting, everything is fully engaged in combat, so we will come straight into the combat phase and we'll begin over here on the right hand side for a change. And we'll do this fight here. It's a 1-on-1. It goes to Rohan, needing a 6 there, 5 in fact on the charge, but that 2 does not kill. We'll just come along these fights and we'll do 2 on Daewine. Daewine 3 on the charge, wins it there on the 6. He's only against 1 target, so these are all double strikes, rerollable, but he has killed him on the first go, so he backs off but is down. Next we have 2 for the charge and 2 there. And again it goes to Rohan, looking for 6s here to get the kill, as he is able to maintain shield wall backing away. And so he is defense 7. 4 dice to get 6s. No. Shield wall saves his life and he is prone. We'll just pop a purple one on him. Next we have 2 on 1 again. And again it goes to Rohan on the 6. Nasty charge there, needing 6s. No, again. It's all coming down to shield wall, so both of those are prone. The next fight is Éomer. He's against 4 on the charge. He's got 4, so it's 4 apiece. And there on another 6 for Rohan, it goes to Éomer. Again, they can back away into shield wall, although at strength 5 on the charge, the mighty Knight of the Pelennor is still wounding on 5s. So his first double strikes, kills on another 6, and then nothing there. So then these last strikes again. Oh, and he is still alive. So just 1 goes down and 1 prone. Popped his prone marker on there so we don't forget. And then we have a 2 on 2 there. It's 1 warrior against 1 rider. Charge bonus for the rider and shielding for the warrior. And this time it does go to Minas Tirith, backing him harmlessly away, but shielding there, doubling his strikes to win, but unable to wound in combat. Moving right across, we'll come to the left-hand side, and we have 1 on 1. That spearman's just going to fight normally against the charging Royal Guard. He's going to risk it. It nearly paid off, although at fight value 4, but 5 on the charge near Theoden, there was absolutely nothing he could do against the Royal Guard there, who now has double strikes, who's now just looking for 5s to wound, and he obliterates him. This is looking messy now for Minas Tirith, although now coming to the far left, things looking a little better, as we have 2 on 1 there in favour of Minas Tirith. It goes to Minas Tirith. Only one of them can make a strike. So he stands. He's pushed back. And he will be able to make strikes. He's looking for 6s. But it's 5s on the horse. So he's going to go for the horse to stop him from running off and taking the objective. Oh, just a 4. He's backed away and he is unharmed. Then we have the big fight. We have Dernhelm against Ingold and 5. So we'll do Dernhelm first. If she can get the 6, then she will survive. Oh, it's a 5 high. So she does have might. She can guarantee the win. But depending on what Ingold and his warriors get will determine whether she needs to spend that might. So the warriors get the 6. So yes, Dernhelm there is forced to spend the might. But these are all knocked prone. Slightly unsure on the rules here, where Ingold's trapped Dernhelm. Now, losing the fight, he has to back away, but he has the resolute fighter special rule, which means it is always the other force that backs away regardless of whether he wins or loses. However, having trapped, he needs to back away despite winning. So they have backed away because somebody has to back away and she's unable to. Unsure if that's exactly how it's meant to be played. If you know, please do comment below. But we'll go ahead and do Dernhelm's strikes. So she's going to put her first 2 double strikes out of 4 into Ingold himself. Oh dear. That is not a wound because he is defense 8 with shield wall there. So the next set of dice, needing a lot of 6s here to get the kill. Oh, she gets 1. She does have... No, she has no might because she used might to win the fight. So that is just 1 wound against Ingold from 8 dice. Ingold lives to fight another day. After Ingold has survived the wrath of Dernhelm, we come across to the centre. And we have 2 on 1, which on a 5 goes to Rohan, but there is Boromir's banner, which does not pay off there on a 4. So these are double strikes. We'll do him first because he has charged, so he will only need 5s, and he gets him there on the 6. They back away because they trapped their opponent, and he is dead, leaving just the final fight. Boromir against Theoden. So we'll roll for their strikes. Ooh, and Boromir, they're getting the 6, goes well into fight 6, but fortunately with a fight 5, Theoden has just managed to get to fight 10 as well. We'll go the opposite way around to last time. We'll go Theoden, who didn't charge, with 2 dice, and his 3 charging Royal Guard. They'll roll first, so Theoden obviously is those bigger dice. And there they get the 6. So then Boromir has 3 attacks to win the fight. Just before, we have actually remembered Boromir's horn. If he's outnumbered, the highest courage has to take a courage test. So we'll just very quickly do that. Theoden passes there, just to make sure that we don't do Boromir a disservice. Though Boromir now needing to get the 6 on these 3 dice. Oh dear. A 5 high. He's got his banner, which is just a 1. So he's going to have to spend a point of might, taking him to 3 might, but he does at least draw the fight. So now we have a roll-off. Both having rolled 6s, both now fight 10. On a 1, 2, 3, Boromir wins. On a 4, 5, 6, Theoden and his Royal Guard win. And it goes to Theoden once again. Boromir smashed back to the ground. And this is going to be a lot of incoming attacks on Boromir. The Royal Guard will need 6s. These are all double strikes, so we'll re-roll these. Nothing on the first set. Looking for 6s, 1 wound there. So that's 1 wound so far. And then we have 4 from Theoden. He is also looking for 6s. No wounds there. So just 1 wound on Boromir. He is going to fate that. He doesn't pass. He's going to fate it with his last fate. And that is a 1. So he's used all of his fate and takes a wound there and is not prone. That is not good for Boromir. End of another brutal turn. Turn 4 has seen the right flank nearly collapse for Minas Tirith. The centre is now simply a 2 wound, no fate Boromir alone on the ground. Although the left is still holding in Minas Tirith's favour, there are a lot of their forces on the ground. If they lose priority, it will be a messy turn. Importantly, furthering their bad position, Minas Tirith has lost the top right supplies. And they're now fighting a force that is yet to take a casualty. Rohan still unharmed by any of the blades or arrows of Minas Tirith, and Minas Tirith themselves nearly broken. So they are definitely on the back foot going into turn 5 priority. And priority turn 5 goes to Minas Tirith. Start of the movement phase, and with Minas Tirith priority, Theoden has called a heroic move. End of turn 5 movement. Boromir has stood up once again and has charged into Theoden and then been countercharged by 3 cavalry. The lines here smash together under Theoden's heroic move, allowing the cavalry to engage at will. Up here, this rider is going to destroy an objective at the end of the turn, and the Royal Guard has just come across to join him. Over on the left, Dernhelm has been surrounded. She does have the fight value, but no charge bonus, and surrounded could be a bit messy now for Eowyn and Merry. This Royal Guard has been charged, and that Royal Guard has been charged by a knight and 2 warriors, or at least a warrior and a Fountain Court Guard. And then here, this Fountain Court Guard is making a break for the supplies, although he is in charge range of the Royal Guard and the rider next turn, so he may have a fight on his hands before he can destroy the supplies. He's also in bow range and throwing spear range there as we go into the shoot phase for turn 5. As we said then, we've got the Royal Guard and the rider against that Fountain Court Guard. The throwing spear will be in blue because that is strength 3. They both hit on 5s. It's the throwing spear, so needing a 6 to kill him. Ooh, it's a 5. The throwing spear smashes into his shield, but does not do any damage. Start of the combat phase, and Boromir has the fight value against Theoden. Theoden is out of might, so instead he screams death, which with his special rule for the Legendary Legion allows him and all heroes within 12 inches to either strike or heroic combat for free. So Theoden will be able to strike one last time against Boromir, and as a happy coincidence, Eomer there will be able to call a free heroic combat. So in the combat phase, we'll start off with the heroic combat from Eomer. Eomer's heroic combat on the right. It's 2 on the charging 4. He wins it there on fight value. That warrior can back away, but even in shield wall, it is still only 5s, and these are re-rollable, but they're not needed. 3 2s is not very good, but that 6 gets the kill, which allows Eomer there to move on. After winning that heroic combat, Eomer has come down to threaten Boromir if Boromir wins and survives this fight. Having started up here with Eomer, we'll continue and we'll do charging rider against 2. So it's 2 on 2, and it goes to Rohan. He can probably there get into shield wall. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. So needing 6s, no shield wall there, paying off for him. We'll just put a pro marker on him. Oh, we'll use purple. Next is a 2 on 2. 2 for the charging Royal Guard there against the Fountain Court and Warrior of Minas Tirith. And again, it goes to the forces of Rohan there. He's able to back away again into shield wall, although actually it's been pointed out that the Fountain Court don't have shield wall, so he is still defense 7. Although still 6s now from the strength 4 on the charged Royal Guard. He's absolutely fine. 3 high cannot break his armour, but he is thrown to the ground and knocked prone. Then we have a 1-on-1 there. That warrior on the floor won't be able to make strikes if he wins, so he shields. He does win, so he pushes the Royal Guard back and stands up to take the charge next turn. then we have Deowine. Deowine against 2. 1 is on the floor, but his spear support will be able to make strikes if he wins. Deowine there with the fight value on the 3 dice. Gets 3 6s. Unbelievable there from Deowine. He can not back away into shield wall because, again, they don't have shield wall, those Fountain Court guards. So this will be 5s. Nothing on the first set, but they are doubled. And that 6 there gets him. He goes down. Incredible work there from Deowine. And the final fight on the right, we have a 1-on-1 there. Those 2 cavalry. Goes to Rohan. On the charge there, needing just 5s, but no, only a 1. So that knight backs away safely. We can then move across to where things become quite messy for Rohan. A 1-on-1 there. And it goes to the Royal Guard. Oh dear, Minas Tirith. It's a 6 to wound him, so he is fine. Next, we've got the Royal Guard who is trapped. He should here go down, Minas Tirith, getting their first kill of the game, which seems insane in such a brutal game. It's a draw there. The Royal Guard being unbelievable and getting a 6 on 1 dice. Although Minas Tirith, they're 2 5s and a 6 doing the work as well. 1, 2 or 3, it goes to the forces of Minas Tirith. 4+, it goes to Rohan. It's a 4. It goes to Rohan. Unbelievable. And they have been unable to best that Royal Guard. The Royal Guard is going to make a strike. He's going to go for the Knight's Horse to allow those 2 up there to go in on the objective. He didn't charge, so he's only strength 3, so he needs 5s. Ooh, a 4. He doesn't get that horse there. The next fight, last one of the turn, is Dernhelm, the Eowyn and Merry profile against Ingold and 3 warriors. So Ingold will be the big red dice, the smaller red dice for the warriors, and then Dernhelm, the green. She does have fight value, but she is trapped. Oh, and that is not good for Dernhelm. She's lost the fight. She is trapped. So again, not quite sure if this is right with the Resolute Fighter, but they are going to back away because they did some trapping, and now these are going to hurt. Believe she is only defense 5, which could be very, very bad for Eowyn and Merry. We'll just come back after we've checked. Dernhelm is defense 5, so with 3 wounds, 1 fate, this could spell disaster for Eowyn and Merry there. First strike, needing 5s, will be against Merry. That is a wound. And Merry is just going to cop that, and he is dead. Taking this down to just the Eowyn model now. The next 2 strikes against Eowyn, again, just needing 5s. Oh, and that is brutal. She is dead before Ingold could even strike. And that is the first casualty there for Rohan. Eowyn and Merry fall to the blades of Minas Tirith. Finally, the last battle of the turn is between Boromir and Theoden. It's champion on champion, and they are both striking up. We'll do their strikes now. Ah, and it goes to Theoden this time. Not a draw. Boromir fights 7. Oh, in fact, yep, take it all back. It is a draw because he's fight 7 with the banner. That banner there has done very little all game, but that could well have saved his life. He is now fight 7 and then up to 10 with the strike. Theoden striking incredibly well all game, which is normally unheard of for the King of Rohan, is also fight 10. End of turn 5 and things are very, very bleak for Minas Tirith. Their forces scattered and tattered across the battlefield Amazingly, they're not broken. They are one-off broken, but they are surrounded and now outnumbered by a superior cavalry force. Things not looking good for Minas Tirith. They are going to now be in a position where they are just trying to deny as many victory points to Rohan as possible, as we go into quite possibly the last turn, turn 6 priority. And turn 6 goes to Minas Tirith. Adding insult to injury, Daewine is going to call another heroic move, and there's no might left on the board at all for Minas Tirith to counter. End of turn 6 movement, and Daewine with his heroic move has been able to charge those infantry, keeping all the prone models on the floor and keeping that cavalry model up there from interfering. Up here, the knight there has come up to stop the rider from getting in on the objective and has since been charged. And Theoden and one of his Royal Guard bodyguard have come up to try and take that last supply. Moving down to the bottom of the board, Aemir and his 2 mounted friends there have come down to overwhelm the objective at the bottom to secure that and make sure they don't lose it. This Fountain Court Guard has been charged to stop him from taking the supplies. And then up here, Ingold and his warrior has charged this Royal Guard, and this Royal Guard has been surrounded. In the shoot phase, there's just these 2 riders here, a Royal Guard and a rider, that have throwing spear shots on him. They've moved, so they're hitting on 5s. Oh, but they both miss. With that little bit of shooting done, we go into the combat phase, and we'll start on the right-hand side. We'll start with that one-on-one there. They've been fighting for a while. It goes to Rohan there on the 4, looking for 5s. No, just a 2. He backs away. Next we have a 2-on-1, and he is just going for blood now, and he's going to fight normally, and it wins in the fight. If he can get the 6, he'll get a kill. So close, a 5. He backs away. Next we've got a 2-on-1. Front guy is prone. The spearmen will be able to wound if they win, which they do. So a 5. So close again. Minas Tirith just unable to deal any damage. Let's see if he can do something different. A 1-on-2 there. No, just a 1. He is unable to do the business. He is defense 7, so as he backs away, he's only getting wounded on 6s. And that is enough to keep him alive. Let's pop a prone marker on him. And then last but not least on this flank, we have 3 on the 3 for charging Daewine. And Daewine wins it there on the 6. He has been quite a solid little machine in this game. So, in fact, we'll do these separately because there are 2 potential targets. All smashed to the ground. He's going to go for that guy first. Needing, wow, that 6 will definitely do it, but needing 5s because he is strength 5 on the charge. And then that one, we've got 2 double strikes and a decent number of 6s there, bringing him down. Devastating on that right flank. Moving up to the top of the board, we have this 1-on-1, which is a draw, but because Theoden is within 12 and that Rohan charged, he is fight value 4, so he wins on fight, needing 5s. And that is a 6, hiding there behind the house. He goes down. Minas Tirith hemorrhaging warriors now. Then we have this chap here. He is going to shield because he can't take that objective this turn because he's in combat. So he just needs to survive. So it's 2-on-4 there for Rohan. And he wins. So he pushes both of those cavalry back. The next fight is more in Minas Tirith's favour. They have Ingold and 1 against the Royal Guard. Ingold is the bigger dice and he wins it there. Double 6s, even his friend there getting the 5. Ingold will need 5s and his friend will need 6s. Wow, Ingold smashing up there on that flank. Then next, we have the last fight, which is 3 on 1. He didn't charge, so he's got no bonuses. He's just going to fight for his life. And, oh, that is a 5 there, hiding behind that tree stump. Surrounded. So these are 6s, but these can be re-rolled. Nothing on the first lot. Can he survive? Yes, he can. That armour on the Royal Guard doing the work there as they back away. End of turn 6, and the turns are starting to come quick and fast now as Minas Tirith, broken, are hemorrhaging men. They are definitely on the back foot, but they are going to go down fighting. Let's go into turn 7. Priority, turn 7, goes to Rohan. End of the movement phase, and it has gone very badly for Minas Tirith. Rohan there with an uncontested priority have charged everything on the field. Here on this objective, the Fountain Court has been charged by 2, so he's not going to be able to take that out. Aemer's gone in, riders, Theoden has got into combat, and a Royal Guard has gone in just to make sure Ingold can't hurt him. Here, to add insult to injury, the Royal Guard that survived being trapped last time threw a spear at the Fountain Court and killed him, and then charged his friend. Ryder came down to charge him, and the Royal Guard is going to destroy the last supplies. Over here, it is a slaughterhouse as everything has been charged. There's a lot of prone models charged as well. It is not looking good for Minas Tirith. And then up here, finally we've got the Fight of the Ages, those 2 cavalry models who are just hitting each other with pillows. Everything's engaged, so there's no shooting. And we'll just start with the 2 pillow fighters up top. Goes this time to Evil, to Minas Tirith, needing a 6. No, and he backs away to fight another turn if there is one. It is starting to get close to endgame now. Here, this warrior is going to stab. Oh, it nearly paid off there with the 5, but cannot beat the 6 from that Royal Guard. Needing 5s. No, he is fine, although he does take stabbing damage. Which nearly killed him, and he is prone. We'll just lie him down. We'll put a marker on him in a moment. Next we have Daewine and 1. Daewine forgetting there to call the heroic move. Heroic combat, but probably not that big of a deal at this point in time. So 3 for Daewine, 2, and then his sword will shield. Daewine there, winning the fight easily. He does have might, but it's not going to be worth it to waste it, so they're not differentiated. And they, with him not being able to get into shield wall, we're doing 5s regardless. That first set, and he is down. Next we have this 2 on 2, a chance for Minas Tirith to get a spite kill here. They do have that spearman that will be able to deal wounds, and they win. So the chap that's prone stands up, take his marker off so we remember. He backs away, and then the spearman makes strikes, needing 5s, and it's a 6. He is down. A rider has fallen. Then we have the Royal Guard there against a Fountain Court. Fountain Court's prone, so he will shield. And he has drawn the fight. Theoden is not within 12, so that is a draw. So we'll do the roll off. And on a 2, it does go in favour of the Fountain Court. More warriors of Minas Tirith surviving on that flank than one would possibly have expected. Then we come across to these fights here. We'll do this 2-on-1. That warrior's going to stab. He loses. These are doubled, needing 5s. No, he again survives. We'll pop him down. Another one that's going to stab. He loses. Does he die? These are double strikes. Not to the first. Not to the second either. We'll just do those stabbing damages while we remember. 6 to kill himself. No. And the other one. No. Rohan's teeth have fallen out here. It's 3 for Theoden, charging 1. He's going to stab on the off chance that he can get a cheeky wound on Theoden. No, not to Theoden. 6. And Theoden backs away there because of the Resolute Fighter special rule. But he is going to be wounding on 5s. And he's killed him with his first round of dice. He is dead. And then, in fact, we have Ingold himself. So that's 2-on-2. It's a draw. And actually, Ingold is only fight 4. And on the charge near Theoden, that rider, that Royal Guard, is fight 5. So he has won. Knocks him down and needs 6s. And he's put a wound on Ingold. Ingold there taking a wound. And knocked prone. Pop a marker on him. And then we'll come down to Eomer. 4 on the charge. Again, stabbing for some spite. No. He does draw the fight. At least if he had the fight value. Eomer there now needing 5s to kill. Annihilating that warrior. Another fight here. 2-on-1. Because again, he's going to stab. And it pays off for him. It does pay off. So he's re-rolling 1s. He needs 5s. No, just a 3. Not enough there. And then here, big fight, 2. So that's 4 for charging against 1. He is just going to stab. There's no point now trying to fend these off. Even with priority, they won't get that objective. That one off the table, but they've still won with the 5. He backs away, smashed to the ground. So he's wounded on 6s. And there with 2 6s, he is dead. And that is Minas Tirith quartered. And the end of the game. An absolutely brutal end at 10-2 to Rohan. Rohan have destroyed all 3 objectives for 6, killed the enemy leader for 2, and have broken the enemy without being broken for another 2. There are no banners on the field for either side, so nobody gets those points. So after that 10-2 horrendous defeat, Boromir is battered and bloody, and Theoden King is victorious. MVPs for the Riders of Rohan has to be Theoden himself, who, striking constantly and beating Boromir, finally brought him down. In a very one-sided battle, Boromir should definitely have beaten him, but the numbers and the fortitude of Theoden saw him through. And then MVP for Minas Tirith, considering the whole force only killed 3 models. It has to go to the rider, the knight, who fought up at the top there and just simply didn't die, because that is about the best that could be said for Minas Tirith's offering here. Boromir has definitely paved the way there for Faramir to enter his father's good graces, if such a thing could ever be possible. As you know, this has been game 4 of 6 in the Tabletop Ramblings 600 point Middle-earth strategy battle game solo tournament. If you've enjoyed this, please do like, comment and subscribe, and hit that bell button so that you're notified of the future releases in this series. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.